Oh, hello there. Hi, my name is Teacher Frank, and this is EWCA Computer Lower Level, Lesson 1 for the topic Digital Imaging Technology and Art using PowerPoint. The objective for this class is for you to be able to use digital imaging technology to be able to modify and create works of art for use in digital presentation. For today's agenda, we'd like to actually discuss four things. Number one, to explain the money making potential of art, ebooks, and stories sold online. Number two is for you to be able to convey the meaning of art in your own words. Number three is to write your own story using a document software. And number four is for you to be able to draw your own artwork using Apple Keynote or other presentation software, compile them into a storybook, and deliver your stories online. You ready? Let's go. For this class, I'll be using Apple Keynote's software, but the same principle applies when you use Microsoft PowerPoint or OpenOffice presentation. If you don't have the software yet, get help from your mom and dad to download the free software. Type OpenOffice download on your search site, download it, and then you're good to go. But if you're already comfortable with your own PowerPoint presentation software, then by all means use those. Now, this lesson comes with a worksheet that I would have given to you or your supervisors would have given to you. So, when you see the pause sign, that's your cue to stretch. Take a pause and time to work on your worksheet. So put a pause now and download the worksheet I or your supervisor have already sent across to you beforehand. Once you're done downloading your worksheet, you may also use your dedicated physical notebook for this computer class while referring to your worksheet if you can't print your worksheet. So today, we would like to talk about how you can make your own digital art and make a children's storybook using your own digital artwork. Hit play again once you're ready. Worksheet Activity 1. First, refer to your worksheet. Can you tell me which among these photos is considered art traditionally or aligned with what is generally held to be acceptable? Raise your hand if you pick picture 1. Now, raise your hand if you pick picture 2. Or raise your hand if you pick picture 3. What did you choose? Okay, now write down on your worksheet why you chose picture 1 or picture 2 or picture 3. Why is picture 1 art? Or why is picture 2 art? Or why do you think picture 3 looks more of an art? Now, you can actually pause the video if you'd like to have more time to think about your answer. Are you ready for the answer? Now, picture 2 is what is generally considered as art. But if you chose any of the picture, can you write at least 10 sentences to define what is art to you? If you chose picture 1, why is that art to you? Or if you chose picture 2, why did you consider that art? Or if you chose picture 3, why so is it an art? Hit pause and then hit play again once you've written your answer. Welcome back to our lesson. Now, my own definition of art is the sharing of one's inner thoughts, feelings, emotions, visions, and struggles from multiple mediums. Whether your art is considered to be art by few, many, or most would be a question we will be discussing another day. Now, it's story time! Let me read to you the story of Reba the Raven, a story about how God provides for the resourceful Reba the Raven. Reba the Raven comes from Sergeant Sun's Southwest Desert, where the sun is as wide as 10 elephants lined up together and where the wind howls like a hammer. The sun is so scorching and huge, and that's why Reba the Raven is always thirsty. But the great thing is that God gave Reba the Raven sleek black feathers. feathers to keep her cool against the vast blue sky. All it takes is a light breeze to move all that heat away from the raven's smooth, glossy, dark feathers. Reba the raven found a giant pitcher one day, as tall as a palm tree, in the middle of the desert, and when it rains, the pitcher overflows with so much sweet rainwater, enough for her to drink for a whole year. What a wonderful way God provides for Reba the raven when she's parched. God takes care of her and will not let her dry out in the scorching sun. One day, the sun turned blue-green. Blue-green sun is the hottest sun in Sergeant Sun's southwest desert all season, and so Reba the raven was surprised to see that her pitcher was almost empty. One time she was so thirsty, but she couldn't drink from a half-empty pitcher because her beak is not long enough. Yet, she wasn't worried. She remained calm and collected because she knows God is always faithful to provide for her needs. She observed her surroundings and found pebbles behind the shadows of the large mountain rock where she rests. She carried some of the pebbles using her beak and dropped them in the pitcher, raising the water to the brim. Praise God! Now Reba the raven can drink from the pitcher. Reba the raven was the most resourceful raven. She led and enlarged her vision by helping other ravens drink from their own half-empty pitchers too. Can you tell your story of how God is faithful, how you have become resourceful like Reba the raven, and how you have enlarged the vision too? The end. Worksheet Activity 2. Writing your story. Now, I'd like you to pull up your worksheet once again and take a look at the mountain. This is called the Story Mountain. It starts at the foot of the mountain called Exposition. Then the story climbs up to the peak called Rising Action, and the story culminates into a climax. And then once you reach that, you fall down again with a falling action, and then you conclude it all together with a great finish called denouement. This is actually a French word that means conclude. Now, hit pause and answer the following questions on your worksheet. Number 1, what is the title of your story you'd like to write? For instance, I'm writing about Reba the raven who didn't become thirsty because God provided for her and she was resourceful. Step 2. For your first page, write the exposition part of your story. Exposition means you are describing your character, the location of your character, and the background of your story. For instance, Reba the raven is a silky black raven who lives in a hot desert where the sun is as big as 10 elephants, and God provides her water through a giant pitcher as high as a palm tree filled by sweet rainwater. Pause. Write your exposition. Use descriptive language like sweet or silky black and comparisons like as big as 10 elephants or as high as a palm tree as you write. Hit play again once you're ready for step 3. Step 3. For your page 2, write the rising action part of your story. Rising action is the section of your story that provides the conflict. Rising action provides a series of relevant incidents that create suspense, interest, and tension in your story. For instance, one day, the sun turned blue-green. Blue-green sun is the hottest sun in Sergeant Sun's southwest desert all season, and so Reba the raven was surprised to see that her pitcher was almost empty. Hit pause. Write your rising action paragraph. Step 4. For your page 3, write the climax of your story. Climax originates from a Greek word that means staircase and ladder. The climax in your story gives you the turning point, a point of the highest tension and drama. For instance, but Reba the raven could no longer drink from pitcher because the water ran out, although not dry but really low because her beak isn't long enough. Pause. Write the climax of your story. Step 5. For your page 4, write the falling action, part of your story. Falling action is what the characters are doing after the story's most dramatic part has happened. Is your character looking for a solution? Is your character ready to forgive? Is your character accepting his or her mistake? For example, Reba the raven observed her surroundings and found pebbles that she carried with her beak to raise the level of water in the pitcher. So she actually thought of a solution. Hit pause and start writing your falling action. Step 6. For your page 5, write the denouement. This is pronounced denouement. French in origin, which means the final part of your story that all the strands of stories and matters are explained or resolved. For instance, Reba the raven was the most resourceful raven. She led and enlarged her vision by helping other ravens drink from their own half-empty pitchers too. Now hit pause and write your denouement. Alright, that's the end of worksheet activity 2, and I hope you can present your story. Now we're ready to illustrate. Worksheet activity 3, drawing digital artwork. Now we are ready to create the digital artwork illustrations for your story. So I don't know how to draw, so I'm gonna be looking at a cartoon online, and this is the first page. I pasted what I saw online that I like and lighten the transparency, and then now I'm using a tracing tool to just trace the general outline of the cartoon. So if you don't know how to draw, this is how you do it. So just follow the instructions on here and develop your character based on it. But if you know how to actually do your own drawing, then that's fine too. So right now I'm just doing the tracing of the beak. So once I trace that, I then put in the color. Then for the nose, I just put a circle shape on there, and then I shaded the beak so that it would look sleek and shiny. And then I used the circle tool to draw the eyes of the raven. And then I traced the other eye because the shape is not circle, it's not fully circle. And then I put those little dots to draw the eye. And then now I'm tracing the tongue, and I think that's it. So essentially you do that several times until you finally get to draw stuff that you like. For the background, I don't really draw it, but I actually looked online. So this is what I found. So I just put it on there as a background. Now I'm just showing you a comparison between what I already drew and what I got online, and they look pretty similar. Except for the fact that the one I got online is possibly happier looking than what I drew. Now this is the color wheel, so pop that up and then make sure that you copy the right shade of pink inside the mouth, so that it would look like there's more volume in there. Uh, I'm just looking online, and this is a very crucial skill if you'd like to actually publish something online and create your stories. Maybe in the future you're able to actually write your own storybook or an ebook, and it's been being sold elsewhere, so you can do that. So hopefully you can become future authors in the future, in the not so distant future, and that would be great. So now here for this part, I'm actually just tracing the wing, the left wing part of the raven. Um, Now, if you have questions, technical questions, you can message me between 7 to 4, and I'll be glad to answer you. But essentially, what I'd like you to do is to be able to present a story or a draft story on Monday. Uh, that will be our first class. So, so right now here, so don't forget that on Monday, present your draft story. As much as what I did uh, previously on how when I read the story. So I'm just showing you how it's done. Now this is Control C and then Control V. I'm copy pasting the other ravens who are also thirsty, which Reba helped. So now for this one, I'm actually searching for the right color using the color palette, and so I got it. So explore characters, explore your imagination, and maybe you will be able to find out what you're good at drawing, really. Um, so for this picture, so I also did the same thing. I traced it, but I wanted it to look like it's a half empty picture, so I actually used the tool to make it look like a wave, and then I adjusted the transparency of the color blue, and voila, it looks like an emptier picture. And then for the splash, I just actually downloaded a splash image and then put it on top. And for the drinking, the raven drinking, don't forget to put your reaction line. So that's what I put in there when the Reba got surprised. So put your reaction shots. And then for your story, just copy and paste it there. You can see that I have a lot of slides already in there. But for you guys, individually, I only expect you to have at least 5 or 6 slides in your story. You don't have to have very complex stories, but I want to see the exposition in there, the title page first, then the exposition part, the rising action part, the climax part, the falling action part, and then the denouement. And of course, I'd like you to be recording your story with your voice and reading your story. So this is how I did the rock and the pebble. Oh, make sure that you also put shadows to make it more realistic. So here I just actually use a circle image and then adjusted the transparency and then put it underneath Reba or my character so that it would look like Reba has shadows and she's actually being hit by the sun, and it's actually leaving a trace of shadow below her. So that's my title page. So I want you to have that kind of title page. What's happening here is I'm actually trying to play it. Okay, so I think for this final slide, I just want to show you
that you can use Control C and Control V or Command C and Command V to multiply the pictures and not draw them one by one if you just need the same image anyway. And then the rotate tool to rotate the images to bring movement to the same image. So actually, this Reba, I only did one image. But I just used tools like rotate tools, and then that splash thingy. I downloaded that online. Then I copied and pasted the story that we drafted earlier, right? And then put it on the page. And that's it. That's it looks like a story. Now, explore your talent in writing. This is the front page, and I want to see that. I want to see essentially your ideas, your own idea of a story. Uh, but if you become an author, you can use this skill to jumpstart writing. If you're interested in um, creating stuff for young audiences to inspire people, you can see that Harry Potter costs not too much. How much is it? Is it 14.99? So it actually sells. Harry Potter sells. Uh, there's this book on lots of stories here, and people do buy it. There's highly rated stories here that you can write. So explore those, explore your talent, and see where it takes you. And be inspired. Be inspired with this new skill that you've actually gained from our class. Maybe you can teach your young brother or young sister if you do, or if you have cousins who are younger than you, you can teach them about the Bible or some inspiring stories uh, by creating a storybook, and you can read it to them. So essentially, that's it. That's the project. I want you to be able to read your own story to the class, inspire us with your own story, and you can ask help from your parents, but I really do hope that you spend your free time drawing and sketching and trying to figure out your PowerPoint, your presentation software, whatever's available to you. If you have any questions on this, on the tracing tool, do let me know. I'm available. You can message me between 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. or just message me anytime, but then I will answer you between those periods if you need coaching. But on the day itself, on the Monday, where we are supposed to discuss this, um, we will be presenting your stories or your ideas. And then you have a full 3 weeks to do it and perfect it. And before our next lesson, again in October, you would have already submitted this to me, and we move on to the next skill that we're trying to learn. All right, so essentially that's it, and I hope to see you soon, and stay safe and healthy. Bye bye.